Most people believe they have only two choices when facing pain: fight back or retreat. They think they must either engage in the battle or quietly accept defeat. But this belief is a trap. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of emotional turmoil, giving power to those who don't deserve it. But what if there was a third option, one that doesn't just help you move forward, but actually leaves them utterly confused? Imagine not just surviving their attacks, but thriving in a way they never expected. Imagine responding in a way so powerful that they have no idea how to handle it. Because here's the truth: people who hurt you expect a reaction. They expect anger, sadness, frustration, or revenge. That's what fuels them. That's what gives them satisfaction. But when you refuse to play their game, when you take a different path, you rob them of the very thing they crave: control. This is where true power lies. Not in screaming back, not in shutting down, but in choosing a response so unexpected that it shifts the entire dynamic. And today, you're going to learn exactly how to do that. You're going to discover how to confuse them, disarm them, and ultimately reclaim your peace on your terms. And trust me, the last part of this is the most powerful of all. So stay with me until the end, because you won't want to miss what's coming. And respond with kindness instead of retaliation. When someone hurts you, your immediate instinct is to strike back. You feel the surge of adrenaline, the fire of anger, the raw edge of betrayal. Your mind races with thoughts of what you should say, how you should make them feel the same pain they inflicted on you. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what does that actually accomplish? Does retaliation truly make the pain go away? Or does it simply drag you into the same darkness they came from? Most people think that fighting back proves strength, but in reality, it only proves that they have power over you. Because the moment you react with anger, you're no longer in control. They are. They dictated your emotions, they pulled you into their negativity, and they made you play by their rules. But what happens when you refuse to play their game? What happens when, instead of retaliating, you respond with kindness? This isn't about being weak. This isn't about letting people walk all over you. This is about understanding one of the most powerful principles of Stoicism, that true strength lies in self-control, not in uncontrolled reaction. Imagine this scenario. Someone insults you, expecting you to lash out. They want to see you get angry. They want to feel the satisfaction of knowing they've affected you. But instead of snapping back, you simply smile and say, "I hope everything is okay with you." Then you walk away. What happens next? They don't get the emotional reaction they wanted. They don't feel victorious. Instead, they feel something else: confusion. Because people who lash out at others don't expect kindness in return. They expect to trigger you, to pull you into the storm. But when you refuse to be dragged into it, when you stand calm like an unmoved mountain in the middle of their chaos, it disrupts everything they expected. And that's when the power shifts, because now they're the ones who don't know what to do. The key here is detachment, one of the core principles of Stoicism. The Stoics taught that external events, including the actions of others, are outside of our control. The only thing we can control is our own reaction. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This means that when someone tries to hurt you, they are only succeeding if you allow them to disrupt your inner peace. When you respond with kindness instead of anger, you're showing that their actions do not dictate your state of mind. You are unshaken, untouchable, and in complete command of yourself. But let's be clear, kindness is not the same as submission. It doesn't mean you excuse their behavior. It doesn't mean you continue to let someone mistreat you. Kindness in this context means that you choose your response rather than letting your emotions control you. It means that you rise above the situation rather than sinking down to their level. Because the truth is, most people who lash out at others do so because they are suffering themselves. Hurt people hurt people. Their negativity comes from their own unresolved pain, their own battles, their own inner conflicts. When you respond with kindness, you are not only taking away their control over you, you are also holding up a mirror to them. You're forcing them to confront themselves in a way they never expected. Think about the last time someone hurt you. Maybe it was a cruel comment, a betrayal, a personal attack that cut deep. How did you react? Did you allow it to consume you? Did you spend hours or even days thinking about it, replaying the moment in your mind, fueling your anger and resentment? If you did, you weren't alone. This is what most people do, but where does it lead? Nowhere. It only keeps you chained to the very person who hurt you. It gives them a presence in your mind, a control over your emotions, even when they're not around. But when you respond with kindness and then let it go, you free yourself, you take away their power, and you move forward with peace. Some might argue, but won't they think they won? Won't they just keep treating me the same way? No, because when people see that their negativity doesn't affect you, they lose interest. Toxic people feed off reactions. When there's no reaction, they lose their power. They don't know what to do with someone who doesn't crumble under their words or actions. They expect resistance, and when they don't get it, they're forced to look at themselves instead. This is how you turn the situation around without ever lowering yourself to their level. This approach applies to every aspect of life: work, relationships, social interactions. In Stoic relationships, responding with kindness instead of retaliation can completely shift the dynamic. Imagine a heated argument with a partner or friend. They throw words like knives, hoping to hit where it hurts. But instead of fighting fire with fire, you stay calm. You listen, you acknowledge, but you don't feed the flames. What happens next? The argument loses its momentum. The other person begins to realize that their words don't have the power they thought they did. And in many cases, they even begin to feel remorse because your calmness forces them to reflect on their own behavior. There is a deep wisdom in understanding that not every battle is worth fighting. Sometimes the most powerful response is not resistance, but stillness. Sometimes the greatest victory is not proving a point, but preserving your peace. And when you master this, you will notice something incredible. Your confidence will grow. Your mind will feel lighter, and people will start seeing you in a completely different way. Because true strength isn't in loudness, aggression, or revenge. True strength is in mastery over oneself. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their negativity, remember this: you don't have to accept the invitation. You don't have to step into their chaos. You don't have to react the way they expect. Instead, confuse them. Choose kindness. Stay in control. Keep your peace, and watch how the power shifts in your favor. 2. Stay unbothered. Silence speaks volumes. Imagine this. You're in a heated situation. Someone is attacking you with their words, trying to provoke you, trying to get a reaction. Every insult, every criticism, every pointed remark is designed to make you crack, to force you into a response that confirms their power over you. But what happens when you don't react? What happens when you meet their aggression with nothing but silence? The answer is simple. They lose. And not only do they lose, but they become confused, frustrated, and completely powerless in the face of your indifference. Because silence is not weakness. Silence is control. Silence is the ultimate act of power. When you refuse to engage, you send a message louder than any words ever could. Most people don't understand this. They believe that if they stay silent, they are allowing the other person to win. They think that if they don't respond, they're being passive. But that's not how it works. Think about it. When has arguing ever truly changed someone's mind? When has yelling back at someone who disrespects you ever led to peace? It never does. All it does is pull you deeper into the negativity, trapping you in a cycle of endless conflict. But when you stay unbothered, when you refuse to react, you are demonstrating something far more powerful. You are proving that their words, their actions, their attempts to shake you simply do not work. This is where Stoicism comes in. The Stoics believed that external events, what people say, what people do, how people treat you, are beyond your control. What is in your control, however, is how you respond. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them." In other words, it's not the insult that hurts you, it's your decision to take it personally. It's not the betrayal that destroys your peace, it's your choice to let it consume you, and once you understand this, you become untouchable. You start to see that silence isn't just an absence of words, it's an assertion of power. Think of a time when someone tried to get under your skin. Maybe it was a coworker who undermined you in a meeting. Maybe it was a friend who made a passive-aggressive remark. Maybe it was someone close to you who knew exactly what buttons to push. How did you react? Did you let it bother you? Did you spend the rest of the day replaying the moment in your head, coming up with better comebacks, feeling your emotions spiral? Now, imagine if instead of reacting, you had simply let it go. Imagine if you had smiled to yourself, walked away, and carried on with your day, completely unaffected. What would have happened then? The moment would have passed. The person trying to provoke you would have been left with nothing, no reaction, no confirmation of their power over you, just confusion. And in that confusion, you win. This is especially powerful in Stoic relationships, whether it's friendships, romantic relationships, or even workplace dynamics. People often seek control in relationships through emotional manipulation, guilt-tripping, or subtle digs designed to make you question yourself. But when you refuse to engage in their game, when you refuse to take the bait, you strip them of their influence. They don't know what to do with someone who is unaffected by their negativity. They don't know how to handle someone who is so deeply rooted in their own peace that no insult, no argument, no external event can shake them. This is the power of staying unbothered. Now, some people might say, but doesn't staying silent let them get away with it? No, it does not. Staying silent does not mean tolerating bad behavior. It means choosing not to reward it with attention. It means understanding that some battles are not worth fighting. It means recognizing that your peace is worth more than proving a point. Silence does not mean submission. It means strategy. Because when you stay silent, you put the burden back on them. You force them to sit with their own words, to question their own behavior, to face the reality that they no longer have control over you. This applies to every area of life. Think about social media. We live in a world where people are constantly looking for a reaction, whether it's through negative comments, online arguments, or attempts to provoke outrage. But what happens when you refuse to engage, when you don't respond to the negativity? The person on the other end has no choice but to sit with their own frustration. They don't get the satisfaction they were looking for. They don't get to pull you down to their level. And that, in itself, is the ultimate power move. If you've ever seen a master chess player in action, you know that not every move is a direct attack. Sometimes the best strategy is to simply wait, to let your opponent make all the aggressive moves while you stay calm, collected, and in control. And then, when the time is right, you strike, but not with words, not with anger. You strike by showing that their actions have zero effect on your life. You strike by continuing to live your best life, completely unbothered by their attempts to pull you down. And when they see that, when they realize that nothing they do can touch you, they lose all their power. So the next time someone tries to get a reaction out of you, remember this. You don't owe anyone your energy. You don't owe anyone your emotions. You don't owe anyone the satisfaction of seeing you break. Your silence is your power. Your ability to stay unbothered is your strength. And when you master this, you will notice something incredible. Your life will feel lighter. Your stress will fade, and you will move through the world with a confidence that others simply don't understand. Because true power isn't in proving yourself to others. True power is in knowing you never had to. And if you agree with this, like this video and comment number 1 below. I want to see how many of you are ready to reclaim your power through silence. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, because trust me, what's coming next will change everything. 3. Keep living your best life. There is nothing more confusing, nothing more frustrating to someone who has tried to hurt you than seeing you continue to thrive. Imagine this. Someone insults you, someone betrays you, someone tries to break you down, and yet, instead of crumbling under their negativity, you rise. You smile, you keep moving forward, you keep building, and you keep improving. This is the ultimate response. This is how you truly win, not by engaging in their drama, not by trying to prove them wrong, but by making their actions irrelevant in the grand scheme of your life. Because nothing confuses those who want to see you suffer more than seeing you completely unaffected, completely undisturbed, and most importantly, completely successful. Most people, when hurt, dwell in the pain. They replay the moment in their heads, over and over, letting it take up space in their minds. They stop focusing on their goals. They stop working on themselves. They let the actions of someone else define their future. And this is exactly what those who hurt you want. They want to see you stuck. They want to see you obsessed with them, consumed by their words or actions, unable to move forward. But when you refuse to give them that power, when you wake up every day and continue chasing your dreams, continue bettering yourself, continue living your best life, you take everything away from them. This is the foundation of Stoicism. The idea that your focus should always remain on what you can control, never on what you cannot. Can you control what they said? No. Can you control what they did? No. Can you control how they feel about you? Absolutely not. But you can control how you respond. You can control your mindset, your actions, your energy, and your direction. And when you put all of your energy into building a life so good, so fulfilling, so rich in meaning, that their negativity becomes nothing but a distant whisper in the background, you don't just win, you dominate. Think about it. What happens when someone talks about you behind your back? But instead of confronting them, instead of giving them attention, you just keep rising. What happens when an ex who thought they broke you sees you glowing, happier than ever? What happens when a toxic friend who tried to bring you down realizes you don't even think about them anymore? The answer is simple. They lose control, because people who hurt others do it for one reason. They want power over you. They want to know they affected you. They want to feel important in your story. But when you move on, when you keep thriving, you send them a message without saying a word. You don't matter. This is especially important in Stoic relationships, whether romantic, friendships, or even family dynamics. If someone walks out of your life, let them. If someone betrays you, learn from it, but don't dwell on it. If someone spreads lies about you, let your success speak louder than their words. Because at the end of the day, people believe actions more than words. You don't need to defend yourself. You don't need to argue. Just keep winning. Just keep building. Just keep creating a life so powerful, so undeniable, that their attempts to hurt you become laughable. It's easy to fall into the trap of trying to prove yourself to others. You want them to see that they were wrong about you. You want them to regret what they did. You want them to realize that they lost someone valuable. But here's the truth. Focusing on proving something to them is still focusing on them. And as long as your energy is on them, you're still giving them power. The moment you stop caring, the moment you shift your energy back to yourself, that's when you truly become free. That's when you step into your full potential. Think of every successful person you admire. Do you think they got to where they are by wasting time on people who doubted them? Do you think they let every insult, every betrayal, every bit of negativity pull them off their path? No. They stayed focused. They kept moving forward. They let their results do the talking. And that's exactly what you must do. Because every second you spend thinking about those who hurt you is a second you could have spent working on yourself. Every moment you waste being angry is a moment you could have spent building your future. And when you understand this, everything changes. Now, some people will say, but what if they really hurt me? What if what they did was unforgivable? And that's understandable. Some wounds cut deep, some betrayals shake you to your core. But even in those moments, you have a choice. You can either let their actions define your future, or you can decide that your life is too important, your goals are too big, your time is too valuable to waste on people who don't deserve it. You can either stay stuck in their shadow, or you can step into your light. This is not about ignoring pain. It's not about pretending that what happened didn't hurt. It's about making a decision that your future is worth more than your past. It's about deciding that you will not let their actions dictate your happiness. It's about taking full ownership of your life and refusing to be a victim. And when you do this, something incredible happens. Your energy shifts. You stop attracting negativity. You stop feeling weighed down. You start feeling lighter, stronger, more in control. Because instead of carrying around the burden of what they did, you replace it with the excitement of what you're building. Every single day, you have the opportunity to create the life you want. Every single day, you have a choice to focus on them or to focus on yourself. And when you choose yourself, when you choose growth, when you choose to keep living your best life, you not only win, you inspire. People will see you thriving, and they will wonder how you did it. They will wonder why you didn't break. They will wonder how you moved on so effortlessly. And that's when you know you have taken back all your power. So whatever they did, let it go. Whatever they said, forget it. Whatever pain they tried to cause, use it as fuel to become even greater. Keep moving forward. Keep focusing on yourself. Keep living your best life. And watch how the world changes around you. 4. Show empathy instead of anger. When someone hurts you, your first instinct is to see them as an enemy. Your emotions tell you to get angry, to fight back, to make them feel what they made you feel. But what if there was another way? What if instead of seeing them as an attacker, you saw them as someone who is lost, broken, or in pain themselves? What if, instead of responding with anger, you responded with empathy? This is where the real power lies. Because nothing confuses someone who expects hostility more than being met with understanding. And nothing frees you from the cycle of pain faster than realizing that their actions are not a reflection of you, but a reflection of their own struggles. Most people don't realize this, but hurt people hurt others. Think about it. Someone who is truly happy, secure, and at peace doesn't go around spreading negativity. They don't attack. They don't betray. They don't try to bring others down. The people who lash out, the people who lie, the people who try to break you, they are dealing with their own darkness. They are acting from a place of insecurity, fear, or unresolved trauma. And once you see this, everything changes. You stop taking their actions personally. You stop seeing them as powerful. You start realizing that their behavior is about them, not about you. Imagine this. Someone insults you, expecting you to react, expecting you to fight back. But instead of getting angry, you take a step back. You pause. You look at them, not with rage but with curiosity. You ask yourself, what kind of pain must they be in to act this way? And in that moment, the power shifts. Because now, instead of being pulled into their negativity, you are in control, you are above it. And when you respond with empathy instead of anger, you completely disarm them. They expected a battle, and instead, they are left questioning themselves. This is not about excusing bad behavior. It's not about letting people walk all over you. It's about understanding that your peace is more valuable than proving a point. It's about realizing that fighting back often only keeps you stuck in the same energy as the person who hurt you. And why would you want to be in that energy? Why would you want to lower yourself to their level? Stoicism teaches that we cannot control others, only ourselves. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injury." Think about that for a second. The best way to win is not to mirror their negativity, it's to rise above it, to be different, to be untouchable. When you practice this in Stoic relationships, the results are incredible. Imagine being in a disagreement with someone you love, your partner, a close friend, a family member. They say something hurtful, and you feel the sting of it. But instead of reacting emotionally, you pause. You don't lash out. Instead, you ask yourself, why did they say this? What's really going on? Maybe they're stressed. Maybe they're feeling unheard. Maybe they're projecting their own fears onto you. And when you approach the situation with this mindset, everything shifts. Instead of escalating the conflict, you diffuse it. Instead of creating more damage, you create understanding. This doesn't mean tolerating abuse, but it does mean choosing intelligence over impulse, strength over weakness, power over chaos. Now, some people will hear this and think, but if I don't stand up for myself, won't they think I'm weak? No, because standing up for yourself doesn't always mean fighting. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is refuse to engage in negativity at all. Sometimes the real power is in keeping your inner peace so strong that nothing they do can shake it. Imagine a storm, wild, chaotic, destructive. Most people get caught in it, trying to fight against the wind, trying to hold on to things that are being ripped away. But the truly wise ones, they don't fight the storm. They step back, they wait, they let it pass. And when it does, they are still standing, completely unharmed. That's what happens when you choose empathy over anger. You become the one who stays standing, no matter what kind of chaos someone else tries to bring into your life. There's another powerful reason why this works, because it shifts the burden back onto them. When you respond with anger, you make it easy for them. They get to focus on your reaction instead of their own actions. But when you respond with calmness, when you respond with understanding, you force them to sit with what they did. You force them to see themselves. And that is far more powerful than any insult you could ever throw back at them. If you've ever seen someone respond to hate with grace, you know how powerful it is. Think about the most admired people in the world, leaders, visionaries, legends, the ones who truly make an impact. They are not the ones who get caught up in petty battles. They are not the ones who let small-minded people drag them down. They are the ones who move with purpose, with clarity, with unshakable strength. And that's exactly what you become when you master this mindset. But let's be real, this is not easy. It takes discipline. It takes self-awareness. It takes the ability to rise above your initial emotional reaction and choose something greater. But once you do, you will feel a level of power and freedom you never knew was possible. You will walk through life differently. You will no longer be controlled by the actions of others. You will be in full command of your mind, your emotions, and your peace. And that is what true strength looks like. So if you're ready to master this level of power, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let's see how many of you are ready to rise above. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, because the next part of this is going to take you even deeper into the mindset that will make you unstoppable. 5. Refuse to play their game. There is a simple truth that most people overlook. The moment you engage in someone's toxic behavior, you've already lost. The moment you allow yourself to get pulled into their chaos, their manipulations, their mind games, you've given them exactly what they wanted. Because people who hurt others, people who manipulate, people who provoke, they don't just do it for no reason. They do it because they want control. They want a reaction. They want to pull you into their energy, into their world, into their reality where they set the rules and you become just another piece in their game. But what happens when you refuse to play? What happens when you simply walk away? What happens when you show them that no matter what they do, no matter what they say, you remain completely unaffected? The answer is simple. They lose. And they don't just lose, they become confused, frustrated, and powerless against you. The biggest mistake people make when dealing with negativity is believing that they have to respond, that they have to defend themselves, that they have to explain, argue, fight back. But ask yourself this: who are you really proving anything to? If someone already made up their mind to attack you, do you think your words will change them? If someone is committed to misunderstanding you, do you think arguing will make them see the truth? No, it never does. It never works. Because their goal was never to understand in the first place. Their goal was never resolution. Their goal was to drag you into a battle where they can control you. And that is why the most powerful thing you can do, the thing that will completely break their expectations, is to refuse to engage at all. Think about how many times people have tried to bait you into a reaction. Maybe it was someone in your family who knew exactly what to say to push your buttons. Maybe it was an ex who sent a message just to stir things up. Maybe it was a coworker who made a comment designed to get under your skin. And every time you felt it, the pull, the temptation, the urge to respond, to react, to fire back with something that would put them in their place. But what did that accomplish? Did it ever truly make you feel better? Or did it just drag you into their negativity, into their drama, into their world where they controlled the narrative? The truth is, every time you engage with toxic people, you give them your energy. And every time you give them your energy, you lose a part of yourself. This is where Stoicism gives you the ultimate advantage. Because one of the core teachings of Stoicism is understanding that you do not have to attend every battle you're invited to. You do not have to pick up every sword handed to you. You do not have to fight every war just because someone else wants you to. The Stoics understood that true power lies in choosing what you engage with and what you simply let pass. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You always have the power of not having an opinion." Think about that. You have the power to simply not care. You have the power to not react. You have the power to let something go without ever giving it a second thought. And when you master this, you become untouchable. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring everything. It doesn't mean tolerating disrespect or pretending that nothing ever affects you. It means being strategic about where you place your energy, because energy is your most valuable resource, and toxic people, they are energy thieves. They survive by feeding off your reactions, by pulling you into their drama, by making you feel like you have to respond to everything. But when you stop feeding them, when you stop engaging, when you make it clear that you will not participate in their game, they are left with nothing. And nothing destroys a manipulative person faster than realizing they have no power over you. Think about social media, for example. How many times have you seen someone post something just to get a reaction? Maybe it's a controversial opinion, maybe it's a passive-aggressive comment, maybe it's an outright attack. And what happens? People flood in to argue, to prove them wrong, to get the last word. But what did the original person really want? attention. They didn't care about the argument. They didn't care about the truth. They just wanted engagement, energy, validation, that their negativity could stir people up. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine if no one responded. Imagine if their comment just sat there, unnoticed, ignored. That is the ultimate defeat. Because nothing destroys someone seeking attention more than being ignored. The same applies in real life. When someone tries to start drama, when someone tries to provoke you, when someone tries to manipulate you into reacting, what happens if you simply don't engage? What happens if you shrug, say, okay, and walk away? They are left with nothing. They expected you to fight. They expected you to get emotional. They expected to control the situation. But when you refuse to play, when you remove yourself from the dynamic entirely, they are forced to deal with their own actions, their own negativity, their own emptiness. And that is far more powerful than any argument you could ever win. This is especially important in Stoic relationships. In relationships, whether romantic, friendships, or professional settings, there will always be moments where someone tries to pull you into unnecessary conflict. There will always be moments where someone wants to test you, to see how much they can control you, to see if they can make you react. But the strongest relationships, the ones built on mutual respect, on real power, on deep understanding, are never based on these games. They are based on self-respect, on knowing your worth, on refusing to let anyone dictate your emotions. Because the moment you engage in their game, you are letting them set the rules. But when you refuse, when you stay calm, when you hold your ground without ever stepping into their chaos, you win every single time. Some people will say, but if I don't respond, won't they think I'm weak? No, because real strength is in restraint, not in reaction. Real strength is in knowing you don't have to prove yourself to anyone. Real strength is in having the confidence to let things go, to walk away, to prioritize your own peace over pointless battles. Weakness is needing to fight every fight. Weakness is needing to always get the last word. Weakness is being so controlled by others that you can't let go of a single insult, a single provocation, a single negative comment. True power is in detachment. True power is in knowing that not everything deserves your attention. So ask yourself this: are you giving away your power? Are you letting toxic people dictate your emotions? Are you falling into the trap of playing their game, of reacting, of getting caught up in battles that don't serve you? If you are, now is the time to stop. Now is the time to reclaim your energy, to take back your peace, to make a conscious decision that you will no longer be a pawn in someone else's game. From this moment on, you choose where your energy goes. From this moment on, you decide what is worth your time. And when you do that, you will notice something incredible. The negativity starts to fade. The stress starts to disappear. You start to feel lighter, stronger, more in control, because you have finally broken free. Refuse to play their game. Refuse to let them control you. Refuse to engage in battles that drain your energy and distract you from your purpose. And when you do, watch how everything changes. 6. Let go and move on. There is one thing people don't expect when they try to hurt you: for you to move on as if they never mattered. That is the ultimate confusion, the ultimate power move, the ultimate freedom. Most people hold on to pain far longer than they need to. They replay the betrayal in their minds. They obsess over what was said. They dwell on the injustice of it all. And by doing so, they remain trapped, not by the event itself, but by their own unwillingness to release it. Because here's the truth: holding on to resentment doesn't hurt them. It hurts you. It keeps you chained to a moment in time that no longer exists. It keeps you emotionally connected to someone who does not deserve your energy. It keeps you stuck. But when you let go, when you truly move on, you take back your life. You show them, and more importantly, you show yourself, that they no longer have any control over you. Most people misunderstand what it means to move on. They think it means pretending something didn't hurt. They think it means suppressing emotions or acting as if they don't care. But that's not real freedom. Moving on is not about denial. It's about acceptance. It's about recognizing that what happened, happened, but that it does not define your future. It's about understanding that closure is not something you get from another person. It's something you give to yourself. Because if you are waiting for an apology, if you are waiting for justice, if you are waiting for someone to acknowledge what they did before you allow yourself to heal, you are giving them power. You are putting your emotional well-being in their hands, and that is the last place it should ever be. Letting go is an act of strength. It takes courage to decide that you are done carrying the weight of the past. It takes discipline to refuse, to let your thoughts spiral back into old wounds. But when you do, when you make that choice, everything changes. You begin to see how much lighter you feel, how much clearer your mind becomes, how much energy you have to focus on things that truly matter. And the people who once hurt you, they are left standing in the past, watching as you move forward into a future they are no longer a part of. That is what truly confuses them. Not your anger, not your retaliation, not your attempts to make them understand. What confuses them is your complete and total indifference. Think about someone from your past who hurt you. Maybe it was a relationship that ended badly. Maybe it was a betrayal from someone you trusted. Maybe it was a time when you were treated unfairly and no one stood up for you. Now ask yourself, how much time have you given to this memory? How much space has it occupied in your mind? How many times have you relived it, analyzing every detail, imagining different outcomes? And for what? Did it bring you peace? Did it undo what happened? Or did it just keep you emotionally attached to something that no longer serves you? Because every time you think about them, every time you feel the anger, every time you let the past dictate your present, they win. Even if they are no longer in your life, they still have control. But when you choose to let go, when you choose to move forward, they lose all power over you. This is what Stoicism teaches, the ability to separate yourself from things that no longer serve you, the ability to acknowledge the past without being controlled by it, the ability to focus only on what you can control, your thoughts, your actions, your energy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." And what is holding on to pain if not a form of never truly living? Because as long as you are carrying that weight, you are not fully present in your own life. You are living in the shadow of something that should have been left behind. And the only way forward is to decide that your future is worth more than your past. In Stoic relationships, this is even more important. People often hold on to resentment. In relationships longer than anywhere else, they hold on to what their ex did. They hold on to how a friend betrayed them. They hold on to every little thing their family said that hurt them. And they carry it like armor, thinking it protects them, when in reality, it is only weighing them down. Moving on does not mean forgetting. It does not mean allowing someone back into your life. It means you stop letting them take up space in your mind. It means you stop giving them the power to affect how you feel. It means you free yourself from their influence once and for all. But how do you actually do this? How do you let go when the pain feels so real, when the betrayal feels so fresh, when the anger still burns inside you? The answer is simple, but not easy. You make a decision. You decide that from this moment forward, you will no longer let the past dictate your present. You decide that you will no longer think about them. You decide that you will not allow their actions to affect your emotions any longer. And every time they come to mind, every time the anger starts to creep in, you stop it. You remind yourself that thinking about them is a choice, and you choose not to. You train your mind to release the thought and focus on something else, something productive, something that actually benefits you. And over time, the thoughts come less and less. The emotions fade, and one day you wake up and realize you just don't care anymore. And that is when you know you have won. Not because you proved anything to them, not because they finally understood what they did, but because you are free, free from their influence, free from their control, free from the weight of something that no longer serves you. And once you have reached that level of peace, you become unstoppable. Nothing from the past can hold you back. No betrayal, no insult, no injustice has the power to break you, because you have mastered the greatest skill of all, the ability to let go. So if you are ready to take back your power, if you are ready to truly move forward, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let's see how many of you are done carrying the past. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next is going to take you even deeper into the mindset that will make you completely untouchable. 7. Use their actions as fuel for growth. Pain, betrayal, disappointment. These are things that can either break you or build you. The choice is always yours. Most people, when hurt by others, allow the pain to consume them. They sink into bitterness, into resentment, into endless cycles of "why did this happen to me?" They carry the weight of the betrayal long after the event itself, allowing it to shape their identity, their confidence, their decisions. But what if, instead of letting it weaken you, you used it to make yourself stronger? What if, instead of dwelling on what happened, you used it as fuel to become something greater? This is how you truly confuse those who tried to break you, by not only surviving what they did, but by using it as a stepping stone to rise even higher. Think about the greatest success stories in the world. The ones who overcame impossible odds, the ones who turned their pain into power, the ones who refused to be defined by the hardships they endured. Do you think they never experienced betrayal? Do you think they were never underestimated, never mistreated, never doubted? Of course they were, but instead of letting it make them small, they used it as motivation. They turned every loss into a lesson, every setback into an opportunity, every insult into inspiration. They refused to let their enemies have the final word. Instead, they let their success speak for itself. This is where Stoicism becomes your greatest weapon. The Stoics believed that every obstacle is an opportunity, that nothing is inherently good or bad, but that everything depends on how we interpret and use it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that whatever someone does to you, whatever hardship you face, it is not something to resent. It is something to use. It is a gift, if you are wise enough to see it. If someone doubted you, let that doubt fuel your determination. If someone betrayed you, let that betrayal teach you about resilience. If someone tried to break you, let their actions push you to become so strong that nothing like that could ever touch you again. The problem is that most people do the opposite. They get hurt and they stop moving forward. They get betrayed and they shut themselves off. They get insulted and they start believing the insult. They allow what happened to them to define them instead of using it as fuel. But why? Why give that kind of power to someone who already tried to hurt you? Why let them win twice, once by their actions and again by your response? The moment you stop letting what they did hold you back, you take back all your power. The moment you decide that everything can be used to make you better, you become unstoppable. Think about this. Every time you feel angry about what happened, every time you replay the moment in your mind, every time you wish things had been different, what if you used that energy instead? What if, instead of wasting time on resentment, you put it into building something? What if, instead of feeling sorry for yourself, you worked harder, trained harder, improved yourself in ways that would make you unrecognizable to the person who tried to bring you down? Imagine running into them years from now and they don't even recognize you because you have leveled up so much. That is the best revenge, not arguments, not trying to make them see what they did, just rising so high that they become irrelevant. This is even more powerful in Stoic relationships. When people leave your life, when they betray you, when they underestimate you, it is an opportunity. It is a moment to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I become better because of this? If a relationship ended badly, instead of focusing on what the other person did, ask yourself, what does this teach me about my own boundaries, my own choices, my own self-respect? If a friend turned against you, instead of dwelling on the loss, ask, how can I surround myself with better people in the future? Every pain is a lesson if you are willing to learn from it. Every betrayal is a training ground for becoming wiser, stronger, more self-reliant. Most people don't think this way because they are too focused on fairness. They want justice. They want an apology. They want the person who hurt them to realize what they did. But why? Why waste energy trying to make someone else understand when you could use that energy to build something greater? The best revenge is not making them regret. It is making yourself so powerful that they become irrelevant. The best closure is not getting an apology. It is reaching a point where you don't even need one because you are so focused on where you are going that the past no longer has any hold on you. Think about this. If someone pushes you down, you have two choices. You can sit on the ground, angry at what they did, stewing in resentment, waiting for them to come back and acknowledge the wrong, or you can stand up, brush yourself off, and run faster than ever. Most people choose the first option, the strongest, the most powerful, the ones who truly succeed. They choose the second. They refuse to stay down. They refuse to be stuck in the past. They refuse to let someone else's actions define their future. This is not about ignoring pain. It is not about pretending that what happened didn't matter. It is about making a decision. I will not let this stop me, no matter what they did, no matter how much it hurt, no matter how unfair it was. I will use it. I will take the fire they tried to burn me with and turn it into the fuel that drives me forward. I will not sit in the ashes. I will rise from them. And when you do this, something incredible happens. You stop feeling like a victim. You stop feeling like someone who was hurt. You start feeling like someone who is growing, evolving, becoming. The pain no longer defines you. The betrayal no longer chains you. The past becomes nothing but a stepping stone towards something greater. And the people who tried to break you, they are left watching, wondering how you became so strong, so powerful, so untouchable. So whatever happened, whatever they did, whatever you've been carrying, use it. Stop wasting time on what was and start focusing on what will be. Stop looking back and start moving forward, because everything that was meant to destroy you can be turned into something that builds you if you choose to let it. And that is how you truly win. At the end of the day, the people who try to hurt you only have as much power as you give them. They expect you to crumble, to react, to seek revenge, to stay stuck in the pain they created. But when you choose a different path, when you respond with kindness instead of retaliation, when you stay unbothered instead of engaging, when you keep living your best life, when you show empathy instead of anger, when you refuse to play their game, when you let go and move on, and when you use their actions as fuel for your growth, you break the cycle, you shift the power, you confuse them in ways they never expected, not by playing their game, but by rising so far above it that they can no longer reach you. This is the ultimate power move. This is what true strength looks like. It is not in proving yourself to others. It is in knowing that you never had to. It is not in fighting unnecessary battles. It is in knowing which ones aren't worth your energy. It is not in making them regret. It is in reaching a place where you genuinely don't care. Because the greatest victory is not in making them see their mistake. It is in becoming so strong, so self-assured, so at peace that their actions no longer define your life. That is what true freedom feels like. Now, the real question is, are you ready to take back your power? Are you ready to stop letting toxic people control your emotions, your mind, your future? Are you ready to start living for yourself instead of living in reaction to those who tried to bring you down? If your answer is yes, then make this commitment today. Choose growth, choose peace, choose strength. Let go of everything that holds you back and start becoming the person you were always meant to be. Because once you do, you'll realize something incredible. You were never truly trapped. The only thing holding you back was the belief that you had to fight battles that weren't worth your time. And once you let go of that belief, once you step into your full power, you become unstoppable. If this message resonated with you, if you're ready to reclaim your peace and never let negativity control you again, then like this video and comment number 1 below. Let me know you're done giving your energy to people who don't deserve it. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, because this journey doesn't end here. There is so much more to uncover, so much more to master, so much more to become. Stay with me, because what's coming next will take your mindset to an entirely new level. You don't want to miss it.